Good morning. I want to welcome you back once again to Tim's starter and alternator service. Today we are going to be making repairs on it's a Denso alternator off of a T100 Toyota truck. The alternator's still charging, but the customer is making some maintenance and repairs on the truck, and he said, while I've got this off out of the way, he said, if you will, let's just go ahead and freshen it up. So that's what we're going to be doing, and I hope you enjoy the video. A lot of times my customers at the shop just likes to watch, and I don't mind because I have nothing to hide. So please enjoy the video. Okay, we'll start out by removing our cover bolts. You can tell this old unit's quite tired, and bearings and stuff's worn pretty rough in it. So we'll start out and we'll remove our back case or cover. Those bolts are a 5/16, and you will need a 10 millimeter to get this Now we've got it stuck in our socket. See if we can't find any new one to go back on that. Start out by removing our, you got Phillips screws. I hope those come loose. A lot of times they have a tendency to be ever more tight. Oh, there's one. And these screws are so soft, they have a tendency to strip the heads off of them when you're trying to get them out. Need to in that one. There it comes. You can tell how much wear is on these. Let me get you a new one right quick. You can see from this point actually how much of those are, let me turn it around here, are worn off. So it was just a matter of time till the unit quit anyway. Now we'll remove our rectifier bridge. And then we'll remove our, these are a 5/16 nut. We'll remove those. Now, at this point, these units can be a bear to get apart. So what we do here, let me get our impact wrench right fast. What we need over here. Gonna be difficult today. Let's see what else we got. These nuts on the front of these, if it's an American, it's a 15/16. On these Denso units, it's a 22 millimeter. Okay, got that off out of our way. Now, what you can do is, the way this is made, you're not going to hurt this by pounding on it a little bit. So you can take this and just like that, knock the unit apart. And then we always like to take our rotor, set it back down in the vise, and take a hammer and a punch and set right in there. Neglected to show you, this is special tooling. Made this out of an old shaft I had, and there's a taper inside, and that works perfect just to got to learn to dodge. And that will get your rotor out. It doesn't damage it. This rotor's got quite a bit of wire on it. We'll put this in the lathe in a minute and dress it up, and luckily the back bearing stayed in. A lot of times they'll come out with the rotor, and that just makes it a little more aggravating to get out. But luckily with this one stayed, so we've got another tool, and we can get our bearing out of the rear housing. And here's our bad bearing. You know, the customer said it was making a noise. That bearing there is almost locked up. So that's a good catch on the customer's part. I'm going to pause the video just a second and step over here and get us a couple of bearings, and we'll stick this unit back together right fast. Okay, we will, I've got one bearing, but I neglected to take this one out. We'll remove this front bearing and get it off out of the way. Yes, you can use an impact for these to get these in and out, but what I've discovered that it's real easy to strip the middle out of these Phillips screw heads, I'm sorry, with an impact. So we'll just use a regular Phillips screwdriver and set our unit right there like this. You know, know it's rare that you see any bearing failure in these Denso units, because they use some monstrous bearings in them. Okay, we've got our bearings, and as I mentioned just a second ago, these bearings are monstrous bearings for such a small unit. And if you're going to do this yourself, you can find these bearings probably on Amazon. The part number on this bearing, this front bearing, is a 130-01112. I don't know what the designation on the bearing is, but that's the part number on that one. And our rear bearing, these are a 6202, but it's a double width bearing. And once again, the part number on this one is a 130-01125. So if you've got some rough bearings in your alternator, very simply you could take it apart at home and replace these yourself. These Denso alternators, nothing's soldered together in them, so they're real plug and play friendly. Now be still, I don't want to chase you down and have to work on you. And I'm sure you've seen this in countless other videos, but when installing a bearing, never pound on the center of the bearing. This one we're dropping in, and actually this old rod we're using, just set on the edge of your bearing here and tap that bearing in. You do not want to be a hammering on the center of that bearing. Can cause you problems later on down the road. We'll reinstall our 4 bearing retainer screws. Keeps the bearing from actually walking out of this case backwards. Okay, got those tight. Now at this point we can replace our rotor. Just drop it in, and we'll go ahead and reinstall our pulley. Ouch. Be careful, you'll pinch yourself. That's what happened yesterday. Got between a pulley and something other else. I'm going to take our rear bearing and want to reinstall it. I like to install these back in the case, and most time that bearing just goes in flush. I don't know if you can see that, but you want the lip of your bearing just to come to the lip of your rear housing. And once again, as mentioned earlier, this unit was still charging. Customer just said it's making a little noise, and we found the noise. And do that, then we can close. We'll reinstall our nuts for the to hold the rear cases together. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, these are an 8mm, 5/16, just depending on what side of the creek you're on. Now at this point, this unit's not pulled completely together. I don't know if you can notice that crack. So what's recommended, just get right here by your bolt head. You do not want to pull it together with the bolts, because it can break the ears or split the case. So we just get us a ratchet. Can't tell what I'm doing with an impact, so I usually use a ratchet, or in this case a 5/16 wrench, because I cannot find my 1/4" ratchet this morning. Like my 5-year-old granddaughter told me the other day, I was looking for something at home, and the first question she asked me is, "Papa, where did you have it at last?" So I need to try to figure out where the last place I had that ratchet was. But still a small gap right here. Okay, you can see now we've got it all pulled back together all the way around, and if you do that, always go back. You end up checking these about 3 or 4 times, and even after I spin the unit some, I'll check them again. See, that one's loose again. Okay. Alright, let's go around it one more time. I believe we're solid there, said, there may be an easier way to do this. This is the way I figured out that you don't bust no housings or pull the studs out of the case. Okay, got that now. Unit spins good and free, so that's a positive. Okay, we will reinstall our insulators. Up there. Now we'll reinstall our rectifier bridge. I can't emphasize enough, I tested this unit beforehand. The unit was charging and working, so there's no use to test these components because basically what the customer was after was just the bearings. The rest of the unit's working. So we will put a new brush holder in it because this was worn pretty bad. This alternator's been rebuilt once in its lifetime because that is not a original equipment rectifier. That's from one of my vendors. So alright, now somewhere we laid down, here it is, a new brush holder assembly. Usually doesn't have the rubber on it. Don't be difficult today. It's too early in the morning. That goes down in there. And you want to watch, I caught that a minute ago. When you don't tighten any of the screws down in this assembly here till you've got it all put together. These little old screws, there's not but maybe 2 threads to them, and it's real easy to strip them out. Now we've managed to lose one of our screws. Don't you hate it when that happens? That's probably something I knocked off in the floor a minute ago when I was installing that rotor. But I'll find it. Now I'll be right back with you. I didn't find it, so I went to the parts bin. I buy these by the 100 because I don't know where they get off to. We got that one. Then after you get all your screws started, then you can go back and make sure they're all snugged down. And it also doesn't hurt to go back and check each one of these one more time. And then we will reinstall our rear cover. Be sure and put your insulator in to begin with. And I'm going to put a new nut on this one. That one was rusted up, so we'll be sure and put a new nut on there for the customer. Other than our nut, our unit is complete. Saved the customer quite a bit of money. He heard the noise and knew something wasn't right, and instead of running it till it locked up, he took it off, and we done some preventive maintenance. For the cost of 2 bearings and a brush holder, customer used this unit several more years, whereas if he'd let it run till it locked the bearing up, then he was out the price of the unit. So that's key to it all, saving money. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for watching.